Welcome back, anime lovers. Whether you're here for action, romance, or just some good old plot twists, you've come to the right place. In today's episode, we're diving in. Attack on Titan has taken us all on quite the journey. Over the span of 10 years, and with 4 seasons, Wit Studio and MAPPA have animated Hajime Isayama's story brilliantly. Now it's over. Going into the final episode of Attack on Titan, I was curious to see how I would feel about the ending compared to the manga. When I first read the final chapter, I honestly went back and forth on whether I liked it or not. Then I sat down and read through it while thinking about what Isayama was trying to say. And I came to the conclusion that the ending was a mixed bag, with plenty of good and bad things about it. It was for this reason that I was hoping the updated ending, which released months later, would fix some of my problems. Unfortunately, the opposite happened, with the extra pages pushing my opinion on that final chapter into a negative direction. I have reread the series a couple times since then, and while I still love it, my opinion of the ending has only become worse with each read-through. All of this made me hope that there would be some changes to the anime's ending. I knew we would not be getting an anime original ending, but I had my fingers crossed that there would be extra scenes or dialogue to explain some things better. After all, MAPPA added an extra scene showing what happened to Grisha's parents in the previous special episode, which I unfortunately did not get around to reviewing. Seeing that added scene gave me some hope that there would be new additions to the conclusion. So having now seen the final episode of Attack on Titan, do I think the anime improved on the manga's ending? Yes. Do I like it now? Not exactly. No. In my opinion, the ending still has a lot of problems. However, most of these big issues only appear in the last half hour. The rest of the final episode is mostly great, with incredible animation from MAPPA and a fantastic score. This is going to be my largest review by a wide margin, so buckle up. The episode begins where the previous special episode left off, with the Alliance landing on Eren's gigantic titan to confront him and stop the rumbling. Armin quickly realizes he has to transform into the colossal titan to try and locate Eren and Zeke, but before he can, he is kidnapped by an Okapi titan created by Mir. Panels of the Okapi sticking its tongue down Armin's throat to prevent him transforming were already disgusting in the manga. But it's a million times grosser here. As the Okapi takes Armin away, the rest of the Alliance are surrounded by countless titans, whom Piek correctly speculates are copies of all the previous titan shifters. Back when this happened in the manga, I criticized it for feeling out of nowhere, but in retrospect, I think this was actually a pretty cool writing decision on Isayama's part. Realizing the danger they now face, Pete goes to kill Eren quickly by attempting to detonate the explosives at his head, but she is stopped by a copy of the Warhammer Titan. Following this, the Alliance are attacked by the copies, including ones of Porco, Marcel, and Bertolt, in a thrilling action scene, expertly animated by MAPPA. This ends with everyone in the Alliance cornered, about to be killed, when who should show up to save the day but Annie, riding Falco's flying titan with Gabby. Now safe on Falco's back, the Alliance discusses their next move, and all regretfully agree that their only option is to kill Eren, much to Mikasa's horror. Circling back to Eren, the Alliance splits up, with Jean and Reiner going to detonate the explosives, Piek wrapped around Eren's neck. Mikasa, Annie, and Connie going to rescue Armin, and Falco, Levi, and Gabby continuing to fly above. More amazing animation follows, with the best parts of this section being Piek's jetpack titan skills, and Mikasa and Annie humorously arguing over which titan it was that took Armin. This second match goes about as well as first, however, with the Alliance on the ropes again. Armin is watching all of this happen and, standing over his own unconscious body, screams at himself about how useless he often feels. This is probably my favorite voice acting from the final episode, with Marina Inoue giving a fantastic and emotional performance. Although, despite how emotional this scene is, it has nothing on the cliff scene that follows. When I watched the previous special episode, I was disappointed to see this moment was not adapted, and I was desperately hoping that it would be in the final episode. Well, I was not disappointed because this scene is next, and it is even more powerful than I imagined it being. The scene shows a group of thousands of people trapped between two kinds of certain death. They can either be crushed by the rumbling, or they can fall off a cliff to their deaths. As the rumbling closes in, people are eventually forced off the cliff, one of these people being a mother. With one last, courageous act, the mother passes off her baby before she falls to her death. As the next person holding the baby falls, they also pass the baby on and on and on and on. Countless people, all facing their inevitable deaths, pass this baby on in what they know will most likely be a futile attempt to save its life. It is one of the most beautiful and horrifying moments in the entire series, and seeing it in the anime made me tear up. The visuals for this scene only add to the emotion, with everything being in black and white, with the exception of the mother and her baby. I am almost certain that the way this scene was animated was inspired by the little girl in the red coat from Schindler's List. This scene is, without a doubt, my favorite in the entire episode. Back with Armin, after some perseverance, he realizes he is in the Path's dimension, and this leads to his meeting with Zeke, who has been trapped ever since Ymir chose to support Eren over him. Zeke has completely lost all motivation to keep going, now believing life to be more pointless than he already did. Armin, however, speaks against this, remembering a time when he, Eren, and Mikasa ran to a tree on a hill, comparing it all the wonderful little moments in his life, which made it worth living. As a leaf Armin picks from the sand turns into a baseball, before Zeke's eyes, the Beast Titan remembers playing catch with Mr. Saver, and how this was also one of those little moments which made life worth living. This somehow motivates the ghosts of past Titan shifters to appear and help the two. Armin says this was Zeke's doing, but how Zeke achieved this is never really explained. Unfortunately, there are quite a few things in this final battle which are never explained, but I will get to those in a bit. In any case, the past Titans, who knew the Alliance, come back from the dead temporarily to help stop the rumbling. Among these Titans are Grisha and Kruger, and some fans have questioned their reasons for doing so. For Kruger, I think it makes sense. Yes, he would want to free the Eldians of Paradis, but a full rumbling would also kill all of the Eldians outside Paradis, which he would be against since he wanted to free them too. As for Grisha, I still find myself confused about his motives. Yes, he did tell Zeke to stop Eren, but Zeke later says that Eren showed Grisha something, which made him hand over his Titan powers. We never see what this was, and the reason for Grisha giving Eren the attack and founding Titans, and then later helping the Alliance, are a mystery. I just wish there was more of an explanation for Grisha's actions. As for his son, Zeke decides that even though he does not believe his euthanization clan was wrong, he would not mind being reborn again. With this fitting decision, Zeke reveals himself to Levi, giving the scout the chance to cut off his head and stop the rumbling. While I would have liked it if Zeke had more time to shine in this final episode, his ending is satisfying to me. Following Zeke's death, we get another moment which does not make much sense, which is the stopping of the rumbling. The reasoning for this is that Zeke's royal blood was key to the rumbling continuing, so killing him stops it. But the only reason royal blood was needed was because Ymir valued it. However, Ymir disobeyed Zeke and sided with Eren, so royal blood should not be a factor anymore. Yet, the rumbling still stops. Whatever the explanation for this, Armin is freed and Jean blows up the explosives, freeing the source of the Titan powers from Eren's body, which seeks to reconnect with him. To stop this, Reiner holds the creature down while Armin transforms into the Colossal Titan, blowing Eren's gigantic Titan form away. In the aftermath of the explosion, the Alliance lands at the fort and the warriors reunite with their families, only for the creature to still be alive and for Eren to transform into a Colossal Titan. The creature then sends Titan smoke up to the fort to transform all the Eldians there, so they can help it reach Eren. And so, Mikasa, Levi, and the rest of the Immune Alliance go to fight Eren, leaving Jean and Connie to their fates. If this had been Jean and Connie's final scene, then it would have been a pretty tragic one, as would Annie reuniting with her father only for him to be immediately transformed. This transformation also crushes a lot of the rapport Mr. Leonhardt was building with Secretary Muller, which could have had a lot of hope for the future. As Reiner, Annie, and Peek hold the creature back from reaching Eren, Armin fights his old friend off, while Mikasa and Levi rush to them. While they are doing so, Mikasa experiences another headache and seemingly remembers an alternate version of the future Eren showed her, where they ran away together. Honestly, I do not believe Eren would have run away. Sure, I think some part of him may have desired to, but he has always been the kind of guy to stand and fight, so I don't think him running away with Mikasa would have happened, even if she had offered. Still, the scene is pretty emotional, with Eren using this as his goodbye to Mikasa. After this goodbye, Mikasa somehow knows Eren is in the mouth of his colossal titan, which is something else I wish was explained, but is not. Levi blows a hole through Eren's mouth, and Mikasa leaps through to decapitate Eren and finally end the nightmare of the rumbling once and for all. Eren's death is very emotional, but I wish the following kiss with Mikasa had occurred in the alternate version of the future he showed her, and not when Eren is dead. Also, Mikasa remembering the alternate reality Eren showed her raises yet another plot hole. In the manga, I was fine with this moment because I thought Eren was showing it to her in the present, but the anime seems to confirm that Eren showed her this alternate future and then erased her memory of it. This should be impossible because Ackermans are immune to Titan powers. As I have shown, there are quite a few plot holes with Attack on Titan's final battle. However, despite this, I would still say that the final episode has, up until this point, been very good. The animation, soundtrack, and action have all been spectacular, and there have been some emotionally powerful moments, most obvious of which is the baby scene. Unfortunately, the episode then gets into adapting chapter 139, and this is where I think the writing goes downhill. This is mostly because I believe the following scene is the worst in all of Attack on Titan. This scene is a flashback revealing that Eren brought Armin into the paths when he was on the boat. The reason I consider this scene to be the worst is because it is full of so many last-minute plot twists that are either poorly foreshadowed, problematically written, or recontextualize prior amazing scenes to make them worse. The first of these twists is the reveal of Eren's motivations. Eren reveals that his plan this entire time was to commit the rumbling so that the Alliance would kill him and become heroes to the world, allowing them to potentially save Paradise. Was there foreshadowing for this? Yes and no. On the one hand, if you look at Eren's actions from the previous special episode onwards, it makes sense. Eren allowed the Alliance to come and fight him, rather than stripping them of their Titan powers, and there were multiple points in the final battle where the only explanation for why none of the Alliance died is that Eren deliberately let them live. However, before the first special episode, there are many moments that seemingly contradict Eren's supposed motives. The most notable of these is at the end of episode 87, where Eren states in his own inner monologue that he will wipe out every last one of them. Along with these seemingly conflicting motives, Eren's plan is just too similar to Lelouch from Code Geass for me. In regards to Eren himself, personally, I think it would have been better if his main goal had been a full rumbling all along. I am not saying that Eren winning should have been the ending. I do believe that the Alliance stopping him was the right call for the story, but I think Eren would have been a much more compelling character if he had stayed true to what we all thought was his original plan. Still, at least this twist had some foreshadowing, which is more than I can say for the next few ones. Following the reveal of Eren's motives, the next big twist is that the reason Ymir did all of this is because she was in love with her abuser. I hate this reveal. When I read it in the manga, it took what used to be my favorite chapter, Ymir's backstory, and threw it far away from my top 10 chapters. Ymir loving Fritz makes absolutely zero sense. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. And you are telling me Ymir loved this monster? If we saw Fritz pretending to be kind to Ymir to manipulate her, maybe I could believe it. But we don't seeing anything like that. He is just completely horrible to her for all of their time together. And that's a wrap for today's anime review. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your fellow anime fans, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our next deep dive.